Thank you very much. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaridhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaridhari Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaridhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaridhari Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 4, text number 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jisvanuyantam Visham Atmajam Apyanagnam Deva Hriya Paridadurna Sutasya Chitram Tad Vikchapitstati Manao Jagadushtasvasti Tipam Virana Sutatasya Vivikta Dishte Jisvanuyantam Visham Atmajam Apyanagnam Deva Hriya Pandadadurni Setasya Chitram Tad Vikshapitstati Menao Jagadushtabasti Tripam Virana Sutatasya Vivikta Dishte Jisvanuyantam Vishamatmajam Apyanagnam Deva Hriya Pandadadurna Setasya Chitram Tad Vikshapitstati Menao Jagadushtabasti Tripam Vidana Sutatasya Vivikta Jishte Jisvanayantam Vishamatmajan Apyanagnam Deva Hriya Pandidadurna Setasya Chitram Tadvikshapritstati Mena Jagadustavasti Sipam Vinana Sutatasya Vivikta Dishte Jishvanayam Tam Rishamatmajam Apyanagnam Deva Hriya Pandidadurna Setasya Chitram Tadvikshapitstati Meno Jagadustavasti Tipam Vidana Sutatasya Vivikta Dishte Jisvanayantam Rishamatmajam Apyanagnam Diva hrida pannitadur nasyutascha chitram tadvikshapitschati mano jagadustabasti pitam vedana sutatasya viviktajishte. Svanayantam rishamadmajam apyanagnam Vivahrida pannitadur nasyutascha chitram. Wait, what's happening? Since some men leading? Who's leading? Anybody leading it? Tadvikshapitschati mano jagadustabasti Tipam vedana sutatasya vivaktajishte. Anybody else? Jispannayantam vishamatmajam napyanagnam Siddhachati mano jagadustabasti Ipam vedana sutatasya viviktadishte.
The recording started.
Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 4, text 5. Drishtva, by seeing, Anuyantam, following, Risham, the sage, Atmajam, his son, Api, in spite of, Anagnam, not naked, Devya, beautiful damsels, and Hriya, out of shyness, Paridandhu, covering the body, Na, not, Sutashya, of the sun, Chitram, astonishing, Tatvikshya, by seeing that, Pritati, asking, Mano, unto the Muni, Vyas, Jagadhu, replied, Tava, your, Asti, there are, Stripum, male and female, Veda, differences, Na, not, to, but, Sutashya, of the sun, Vivikta, purified, Drishte, of one who looks. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. While Srila Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloths, although Sri Vyasadeva himself was not naked. But they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified and that looking at them made no distinctions between male and female, but the sage made such distinctions. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 5.18 it is said that a learned sage looks equally on a learned and gentle Brahman, a Chandala, dog-eater, a dog or a cow due to his spiritual vision. Srila Shukadeva Goswami attained that stage. Thus he did not see a male or female, he saw all living entities in different dress. The ladies who were bathing could understand the mind of a man simply by studying his demeanor. Just as by looking at a child one can understand how innocent he is. Sukadeva Goswami was a young boy, 16 years old, and therefore all the parts of his body were developed. He was naked also, and so were the ladies, but because Shukadeva Goswami was transcendental to sex relations, he appeared very innocent. The ladies, by their special qualifications, could sense this at once and therefore they were not very concerned about him. But when his father passed, the ladies quickly dressed. The ladies were exactly like his children or grandchildren, yet they reacted to the presence of Vyasadeva according to the social custom, because Srila Vyasadeva played the part of a householder. A householder has to distinguish between the male and female, otherwise he cannot be a householder. One should therefore attempt to know the distinction between the body and the soul without any attachment. Without any attachment for male or female. See if this helps. As long these bodies. I think I can pull out of it. Let's try some more water. As long as such distinction is there, one should not let's see if I can crawl out of it or not. What is it? Yeah, go ahead and read it for me. Now let's try. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Shcha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Svaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatnyadeshatarine. So, there are many lessons to be derived here. One who is actually Krishna conscious makes no distinction. Just like if one is properly situated in Krishna consciousness, he has compassion for all living entities. He makes no distinction, male, female, Caucasian, Negro, Indian, Canadian, American, plant, animal, insect. He sees all living entities equally as pure living entities who have fallen down from the spiritual sky to try to enjoy separately from Krishna. Therefore, his desire, such a liberated person, is to liberate all the living entities back to home, back to Godhead. He has unlimited compassion upon all living creatures who are caught up in the cycle of birth and death. That's one lesson we can learn, this equal vision. Another is this male and female thing, which is our entanglement right now in this material world. We have to be very careful about this entanglement. This is keeping us bound up here. This attraction for the opposite sex is keeping us birth after birth after birth after birth. We have to get beyond this male and female consciousness and get back to Krishna consciousness. This male and female consciousness is very, very entangling. And just like Indra, the king of heaven, he was very, very fond of sex pleasure. He was going wild after sex pleasure. And therefore he was cursed by Gautama that now you're so much fond of vagina, now I give you vaginas over your whole body. He was horrified. Vaginas over my whole body, I can't handle this. Please give me some relief. He said, all right, now I give you eyes over your whole body. So we have to get out of this entanglement with sex desire. It's very, very important. It's keeping us entangled birth after birth after birth. In every ashram, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, sex life is regulated, either completely vanished in brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyas, or in household life it's regulated. And household life, sex life is only for procreation, it's not for recreation. If a household is having sex for recreation, they're not grihastha, they're grihamedi. So we have to learn how to get beyond this sex pleasure. And there's a nice verse that's very helpful in this connection. I wanted to share this verse with you today. It's from Rupa Goswami, a fantastic verse, how to rise beyond sex pleasure. Tunde tandavani viting vitinate tundavali lamdaye karna krodha gadambani katayate karnarbine vyaspriham Chaitra Pangani Sangani Vijayate Sarvendriyanam Kritim Najana Janita Tiyad Viramitai Krishneti Varnidvai. I do not know how much nectar these two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. Within desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. So this is how to give up this sex pleasure, you see? How to get free from sex desire. If we can learn how to actually taste the nectar of Krishna's name, it's much better than sex. In the material world, sex is number one. It's like that, what is that verse? Maitanadi grihamedi sukham hitu cham. That pleasure which is considered number one pleasure, adi, maitun, sex pleasure, adi, maitun, adi, by who? Grihamedi, yan maitanadi grihamedi sukham. But what does it say? Hitucham, it is indeed insignificant. So one can become free from this sex desire, this lust, if he learns how to actually relish Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Who needs sex if you got Hare Krishna, you see? Hare Krishna. So this is the supreme pleasure, chanting Hare Krishna. And this can actually solve all the problems of the whole world. Right now people are running after power, money, and sex. These are three biggies. I remember when I was a kid, I was really amazed. We used to watch television in those days. That was the thing. As kids growing up with TV, that was the thing. And back in the 50s. And there was an ad on television. It was a very common ad about ultra bright toothpaste. And the ad went like this: new ultra bright toothpaste gives your mouth sex appeal. You see, that was the whole thing. You want to have a sexy mouth. So the girls will want to kiss your mouth. That was the whole crazy thing. You see, can you imagine? That was on TV. Little kids growing up, even before puberty, you're being trained. You need to have sex appeal. Can you imagine? We were trained like that. Remember that ad? Oh my God. And then the Beatles came. It was all, I want to hold your hand. She loves you, yeah. It was all sex, 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 sex. Prabhupada saved us, he said. Prabhupada came and he saved us in this sex consciousness, he said. So we have to learn how to actually tune in to what Prabhupada is teaching us. Tune in, turn on, and bliss out, you see. Who needs sex pleasure, you see? Sukadeva Goswami, he had no consciousness, even though he was 16, he attained puberty, but he had no consciousness of male and female. No consciousness whatever, you see. So we have to learn that sort of a consciousness, you see. See, everyone is a spirit soul, not, look at that girl, she looks really good. No. A spirit soul, qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord. That's the vision we have to have, and that vision will liberate us, from all this bodily consciousness, becoming overwhelmed with lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. So then the question is, well, right now I'm not really enchanted with the holy names. I'm thinking about sex, money, and power too much. You see. But how to actually become enchanted with the holy names? See, chanting is enchanting, but we're not really that enchanted yet. So how do we get to this stage where we're not enchanted, the stage where we're actually totally enchanted? That's the question I was asked this morning. How do you get on the stage of not being enchanted to the stage of being totally enchanted? Well, that's the regulated principles of devotional service. You see, rising early, attending Mangal Arati, worshiping the Tulsi tree, Guru Puja, Bhagavatam. This whole program that Prabhupada gave us, you see, is how to become enchanted with chanting, you see. So, and also chanting, and then practicing too. Chanting the japa, at least 16 rounds every day, you see. For us beginners, it's like a mechanic thing. Well, I have to do it, get it done. Hare Krishna, Krishna. But actually, the more we become advanced, it'll be like, oh, it's like this verse says, relishing the nectar. Oh, wow, Krishna is dancing on my tongue. I need millions of years to capture more of this nectar. We have to pray that we can come to that stage. Actually come to that stage of relishing the nectar of Krishna's name, you see. And that stage will actually experience Krishna with everything, and everything within Krishna will be constantly absorbed in this amazing person who's unlimitedly powerful, unlimitedly beautiful, unlimitedly renounced, unlimitedly wealthy, unlimitedly famous, and unlimitedly wise. What's that called? Oh, Krishna consciousness. What is the name of our movement? The International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Not for male-female consciousness. Mataji Prabhu consciousness, no. Krishna consciousness. How I can come to that level of seeing everything equally, like Bhagavad Gita 5:18 describes. So is it difficult? What's that old saying? Difficult for the crooked and simple for the simple. So we have to give up our crooked mentality of wanting to come to Krishna consciousness with our material desires. Kick out the material desires. Kick it out with boo. Get out of my heart, you rascal material desires. You're not welcome here. That's what we have to do. Kick them out with boo. The lust, the anger, the greed, the madness, illusion. Get out of here and don't you ever come back again. It's a nice example of Jamunacharya Albandru. Formerly he was an emperor and he had so much facility for sex enjoyment, but now he's become a sadhu. But sometimes he remember those past experiences of sex enjoyment. So what would he do? he would spit at the thought. He says, my lips curl with this taste, and I spit at the thought. Yadavadi mamacheta Krishna Padaravinde Nava Nava Rasadam Yalaptum Namasil Tadavadi Bhatnanari Sangame Smaryamani Bhavati Mugashti Vanam Cha. Ever since I've been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna, relishing Nava Nava Rasa, ever increasing new flavors, new mellows of ecstasy in that service. Whenever due to my past activities as an emperor with sex enjoyment, when I have those memories come, my lips curl as this state and I spit at the thought. We have to learn how to not relish these material desires that may come up in our heart. Try to relish these desires. Get them out. Material desires you're not welcome. Just like when you pass through, you want to flush it down. Get rid of it. So we want to flush all these material desires out of our hearts. Just flush them out. Get them out. They're not welcome. We want only one thing, the desire to please Guru and Krishna. That's our only desire. How can I please my beloved spiritual master? How can I please the Tiger Ranga? How can I please Sri Sri Radha and Krishna? Let everything simply be for their pleasure in all times, all places, and circumstances. In this way we can be relishing the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Even in our sleep we can have Krishna conscious dreams of engaging in devotional service. That's how we want to become, fully 24 hours engaged in nothing except Krishna consciousness. This is amazing stuff here, this Krishna consciousness. What does Krishna say? Raja Vidya Raja Goyam Pavittam Yidam Uttamam Vajavshavgamam Dharmyam Shushakam Katam Abhyayam. This knowledge is the king of education. It's the most secret of all secrets. It's the purest knowledge, and it becomes direct perception of the self, our realization. It is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and susukam, it's joyfully performed. So what if I'm doing my devotional duties but I'm not joyful? I'm not feeling ecstasy while I'm doing this service. It means we're not properly fixed. Our mind's going somewhere else where it doesn't belong. So bring that mind back, bring the mind back, bring the mind back. You know what I'm saying? You got to bring that mind back, isn't it? Train that little rascal. Come on, little rascal. Come back to Krishna, come back to Krishna, come back. Don't go wandering here, wandering there, a little sense gratification. No. Come back here. My dear mind, your only business is to be engaged in Krishna consciousness 24/7. So, if we're very determined, you see. If we're determined, we can be successful. If you're not determined, good luck. We have to be very, very determined. Just like the little sparrow. You all know the story of the little sparrow. Her eggs stole away the ocean. She asked the ocean to return the eggs. The ocean wasn't going to do it. But she was, okay, you rascal ocean, I'm going to dry you up. She was running down, getting some drops of water, depositing it on the land, going back and forth, back and forth. Everybody was laughing. Just see that stupid little bird. She's going to run herself to death. She'll never dry up the ocean. But somebody wasn't laughing. Who was that? Garuda, the king of the birds. He saw him in the situation of his little sister. He came flying in on Garuda Airlines, right? Came flying in. He said, you ocean, you return those eggs immediately. I'll dry you up by mystic power. Immediately the ocean return the eggs. So we have to be very determined. I'm very determined. I will awaken pure love of God within my heart. I'm very, very determined. I'm going to become Krishna conscious. I'm going to become a pure devotee of Krishna. Is it really that difficult? We think it is, but actually it isn't. Because Nitya Siddha, Krishna Prema, Sajja Kabunai. That is actually the original consciousness. We're actually pure devotees. Every one of us is a pure devotee. Actually, every one of us is an associate of the Supreme Lord and His transcendental pastimes in the spiritual world. That's who we actually are. You already have pure love within you. You have that unlimited treasure buried right now in your heart. So just get back to being who you really are. You're a pure devotee. You're not a this or that. You're not an Indian, American, Canadian, not male, not female. Any of these designations, if you clung on to ever since you were a little kid, They're not you. Get back to being the pure devotee of Krishna that you actually are. And that's what Prabhupada is doing. By Prabhupada's teachings and by strictly following Prabhupada's instructions, embracing Prabhupada's instructions is my very life and soul. I must now do exactly what Prabhupada wants me to do. How he wants me to think, how he wants me to speak, how he wants me to act in all times, places, and circumstances. If I have that determination, Krishna will help me, Prabhupada will help me, my spiritual master will help me. You see, I'll be helped from so many, all the acharyas in the whole disciplic succession will be there to help me. If I take shelter of these teachings that Prabhupada is so much kindly blessing me with, take shelter of the association of the devotees, if I'm initiated, take advantage of my spiritual master's mercy and his kindness, take all of these things very, very seriously, you see. And then the most amazing thing will happen. Jeev jago, Gora Chandra Bole. Will actually awaken. On the call of Lord Chaitanya will become awakened. We'll come out of this madness of I am the Lord of all our surveys. Who are you to tell me anything? Don't you know who I am? You see, we'll come out of this false egotism, thinking ourselves the Lord of all our surveys. So what do you think? Should we become pure devotees now or continue in our neophyte consciousness? You want to remain a neophyte? Or do you want to become a pure devotee, qualified to see Krishna face to face? What do you want? You want to linger on the neophyte platform? Slowly, slowly, slowly. I will try to become Krishna conscious. You know that saying, try means die. I'll try. No, become determined. I must not become Krishna's pure devotee. I must not become Krishna's pure devotee. If I have that determination, Krishna will reciprocate with me. Krishna wants to reciprocate. We simply have to agree to reciprocate with him. He wants to have that loving reciprocation with us. At every minute he wants to have it. But we're so aloof from Krishna, we're still trying to enjoy separately from Krishna. That's our stupidity. That's our asinineness. We have to give up this ridiculous mentality of trying to enjoy separately from Krishna and get back to having that loving reciprocation going back and forth, you see. Back and forth with Krishna at every minute. Patram puttam, patram pushpam palam toyam. If you offer me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. That was the most amazing thing when I discovered that. Because in Christianity, we've never been taught that God would reciprocate with us, you see. We actually offer something and he'd accept it from us. We had that idea that God was very far away. He wasn't really approachable. But in the Bhagavad Gita, I found out that you could actually give something to Krishna and he would accept it. You can have just like you give a friend a gift and he appreciates it, how you've given him this gift. It's an amazing thing. Suhridam sarvabhutanam, I'm the most intimate, well-wishing friend of all living beings. Can you imagine you have the most intimate, well-wishing friend right there available for you at every minute? So why do we neglect him? Why do we keep neglecting him, trying to have our own separate program, when actually we have the most intimate, well-wishing friend right there sitting side beside us at every minute, waiting for us to open up and start reciprocating with him. So that's the amazing thing. And then you get that, he gives it back. He takes it and he gives it back to you. It becomes transformed from matter into spirit. It's an amazing thing. Just by your eating, you become Krishna conscious. You become awakened just by eating. Can you imagine what's a more simple process of self-realization? Just by eating, you become self-realized. It's an amazing thing. Just take prasadam, you become transformed by the prasadam. So why we should not take this process? It's so wonderful, it's so sublime, so simply wonderful process. This reminds me of that pastime when they asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what happens when we give somebody a simply wonderful? Prabhupada said he will eat that wonderful sweet, and you come to your temple, and he will become simply wonderful. Then Prabhupada said, Krishna is simply wonderful. And he said, and you are all simply wonderful. And then the devotee said, Prabhupada is simply wonderful. And Prabhupada said, that's all right, have kirtan. So this process is simply wonderful. Take prasadam, stivit prasadam, awaken your dormant Krishna consciousness. Become free from all illusion, all confusion that we're experiencing in confusion. Get out of the illusion of material consciousness. How can it be more sublime? And make the whole world Krishna conscious. Baba gave us the order to live with the whole world, so we have this duty to revolutionize the within and without. Make a revolution within your heart and make a revolution in the whole planet, even all the worlds. It's an amazing verse. Janmantara sahasreshu yasya sadvrda idvashi dasaham vasaham vedadejasa sarvalokan samudara. After many, many thousands of births, one realizes I'm the eternal servant of Krishna, he can deliver all the worlds. Can you imagine the power of being awakened in Krishna consciousness? Someone who has actually awakened their Krishna consciousness can deliver all the worlds, all these different universes in the material world. There's so many infinite universes. A person who's fully awakened can deliver all of them. Can you imagine the power of being awakened in Krishna consciousness? What it does for you and what it can do for all the suffering souls of this world. So let us all now endeavor to become fully awakened devotees of Krishna. You can have a powerful, uplifting impact on this material existence. To the best welfare of yourself and the best welfare for all the living entities all over the world. Is there any reason we should linger here in material consciousness? We should not be dedicated to revolutionizing the within and within. Is there any reason we should not do that? Anybody get reason we should not be dedicated for making the whole world Krishna conscious? Can anybody give me a reason not we shouldn't do that? Why I shouldn't do it? Well, it's really impossible. It's not possible to make the whole world Krishna conscious. What did Prabhupada say? Impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary, right? So we should think, let us now make all of Canada Krishna conscious, all of Toronto Krishna conscious, all of Ontario, all of North America, all planet Earth. How can we now make the whole planet Earth Krishna conscious? Sometimes we think, well, how can we shut down these slaughterhouses and the liquor shops and the tobacco industry? No, don't worry about that. Just convince the people, no meat, no tobacco, no liquor. That's how we'll shut them down automatically. Put them out of business, you see. Just convince the people to stop eating meat, and the slaughterhouse will be closed automatically. They won't be able to maintain it. We have to convince the people to give up this meeting, give up the cigarettes, the tobacco, the liquor. Convince them to give it up. You see. It's actually not difficult to give them up once you get the higher taste. So many devotees were eating, especially from the Western world, they were taking intoxication, they were eating meat, but when Prabhupada came and gave them this process, they could easily give it up. Who wants to eat meat when you can have prasadam? Who wants to smoke a cigarette when you can chant Hare Krishna? Who wants to get drunk or take LSD when you can chant Hare Krishna and get high, much higher? So there's no reason to remain covered by the modes of material nature. Let's go beyond these modes of material nature. Let's get back to being the pure devotees of Krishna that we actually are. Why should we cheat ourselves out of the nectar of being Krishna conscious when all we have to do is chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Does anybody have any arguments? Objections, criticisms, questions? Yes.
Can you hear me well? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but
okay.
I'll try, but this echo, I have some hearing loss, but I'll try my best to make it up.
I see, okay. You mentioned that let's make all world Krishna conscious, and I mean, that's what we all are trying to do. And let's make Canada Krishna conscious. But I've seen at times, devotees, they all are trying to follow Prabhupada and his instructions, but then everyone have their own ways of doing things. And
Everybody has?
if their own ways to
Their
do
own way?
things. Yeah, their own way.
Different religions you're talking about?
No, no, no. And ISKCON itself. It's somehow everyone is following Prabhupada.
Everybody has their own way of being happy? What is it?
Sorry?
What, everybody has their own way? What is it? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, there's different ways. Some people do it through book distribution, some through
Yeah.
prasadam distribution, some through home. Yeah, there's many different preaching
Yeah.
programs going on.
Yeah. And then when they are doing this, sometimes devotees amongst themselves are not appreciating each other. Someone might come up with a project, or someone might
Yeah.
come up with an idea.
Really?
So what?
Well, a devotee means he appreciates all the devotees. That's what it means to be a devotee. Prabhupada appreciated so many different things. We had to follow Prabhupada's mood of appreciating in all the different ways to spread Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is very appreciative of every single Prabhupada appreciated every single devotee. It's amazing how he appreciated and encouraged every single devotee. So we have to have Prabhupada's mood of appreciating and encouraging every devotee. Just like Prabhupada told me, he wrote me a letter, he said, did I say this the other day in the class? He said, I can see you're a very sincere and enthusiastic boy, eager to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. Now continue enthusiastically as you were doing, and surely Krishna will bless you. I'm just some new devotee. Just see how much Prabhupada encouraged me. He said, you have this enthusiasm, it's wonderful. So somebody be enthusiastic doing this way, enthusiastic doing that way. Prabhupada didn't care the way, he liked the enthusiasm. If you're enthusiastic to spread this movement, then Prabhupada said Krishna will bless you for that. So we have to have that same mood of Prabhupada, appreciating the enthusiasm of the devotees to preach in this way or that way. Isn't it?
Yes. So my
What is it? Yeah, and if we try to invent some new thing that wasn't outside of Prabhupada's teachings, that's not good.
So my
They'll try to
question.
water it down. Well, I think Prabhupada was too strict, so we need to water it down and make it more accessible. That's an offense.
Right.
We can't change Prabhupada's teachings
For
and
sure.
water it down, you see. We have to keep Krishna consciousness as Prabhupada gave it to us, you see. Prabhupada's books are the authority. We think, well, Prabhupada's books are a little too heavy. We need to make it a little more accessible. That's an offense. Prabhupada's teachings are accessible. We have to ourselves take if we take full shelter of these teachings, completely accepting the instructions of Prabhupada and embracing them as our very life and soul, we can attract so many people. Our conviction, we can convince others if we are convinced. But if you have doubts about Prabhupada's teachings, forget it. You're not going to be successful in preaching. If you have absolute faith in Prabhupada's teaching, then you can make the whole world Krishna conscious. Isn't it? Am I right or wrong? Agreed. All right. I think it seems to be better without the mic. Let me try without the mic.
So in this verse that we read, it
In this?
said, in this verse that we read,
In this what?
verse
Verse.
that we read,
Yeah.
it said you should not distinguish between a man's body and a woman's body. They are the same, right?
Right.
So why is it mentioned a lot in Bhagavatam where it says women and wine and like all those
Well, we
things?
see both things here. It says because Vyasadeva was a householder, he had to make the distinction, because you can't be, unless you make the distinction between male and female, how you can be a householder? I mean, both things are there. It's a matter of spiritual, just like we have, just like we have a men's ashram, the men and women don't live together in the same room, because they'll fall under sex desire. You see, they get lusty and carried away by illicit sex. So we have to distinguish for our own protection. Although spiritually we see it's completely one, because we are still in the bodily plane, we have to make some distinction to protect ourselves from falling down. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But if we were all on the level of Sukadeva Goswami, we could all live in the same room and all be naked. We're not on that level. We even sleep in the same beds. We're on the level of Sukadeva. We're not on that level. Not on that level, there's no way. We're far from that level, you see. We can't do that. We can't imitate him. Isn't it? Am I right or wrong?
I mean, of course you're right.
But you have some more doubts? Please inquire until your intelligence is fully satisfied.
My only thing is that when I read it for the first time, I felt, why does it say so much of thing about women being the distraction from the path? At least little bit of understanding that I
For-
am not so wise. to
Yes, for
understand
us who are on the material, still on the material plane, a woman is a distraction. Because then I may become lusty, you see, wanting to enjoy sex. So for those who are not on the highest level of Sukadev, the opposite sex is a distraction. For the women, the man is a distraction. It works both ways. You see. I'm a distraction for you, and you're a distraction for me, you see, when we're on the material plane.
So why doesn't it say men and women? And why does it say just women in the book? Was my question.
Oh, I see what you're pointing. Well, you have to show me an exact quote. We can talk about it, because it certainly works both ways. Papa didn't say that men were. Papa didn't say that men were not a distraction for women. Papa never said that. It works both ways. You have to show me the quote. If you're confused about a specific quote, we can talk about it.
I'll get back.
You show me the exact quote, we can talk about the exact quote. Yes.
I just want to add something.
I'm going to add something?
Yes.
Okay.
So about your question, I was told in your class before that the scriptures were originally made for men to read because back in the early years, actually, women didn't have access to education. Like back in the Vedic days, the way it was done is that the books were written for men, and so they were using the term woman for the men. But now that women have access to education, you just have to yourself understand that this was for men. So if woman is for men, then men is for women.
Now we have, actually interesting, the term woman actually means man with a womb. So we're all men. There's men with wombs and men without wombs. You're a man with a womb, you see. A womb man. We're all men. We have men without wombs and men with wombs. Woman means a man with a womb. So that's an interesting point to consider. Okay, now we have a bunch of questions rolling in. Let's see what we got here rolling in. Okay, let's see. Sharda Devi Dasi. Does chanting attentively come first, or avoiding the offenses come first? Well, if you have to chant, how are you going to avoid the offenses if you're not chanting? The first thing is to chant Hare Krishna, and then try to avoid the offenses. Amal Purana. Even though we have a conviction that we should become pure devotees, but deep within our heart is deep-rooted desire for sense enjoyment, which feels like it is permanently situated in our heart. That's true, Amala Prana. We have a deep-seated desire for sense enjoyment. It's a fact. It's been carrying us birth after birth. But even deeper is pure devotional service. So you have to go deep, deep, deep. You have to go to the innermost reasons of the heart, and that's where you find pure devotional service. Leela Manjari Devi Dasi. The consciousness is so contaminated that it's difficult to see all on the platform of being spiritual beings. That's right. That's why we make distinctions to purify ourselves, to not get carried away by lust, for example. What mood one should cultivate to develop that kind of vision? Krishna consciousness. The more you become Krishna conscious, the more you see everything perfectly. So you have to become more and more conscious of Krishna. And when you see Krishna as the center of everything, and then you'll be able to see the Krishna within the heart of all living beings, and all living beings as being part and parcel of Krishna. It's a simple thing. Krishna consciousness is the key. Anything else? Yes. Krishna consciousness is. That's right. Depending on our mood. If we have a cheating mood, it's very difficult. But if we have a sincere mood, it's very easy. Sincerity is the key. Simple for the simple and difficult for the crooked, that's right. You have to be sincere. I'm a fallen soul. I've been caught up in the cycle of birth and death for millions of lifetimes. Now Krishna is kindly allowing me access to return to his transcendental abode. If you're very proud, you think, oh, I'm a pretty good person, you know. Then it's very difficult. If you're proud of yourself. Become totally humble, it's very easy. Lower than the straw in the street. Anything else? If not, what about my dear godbrother here? Have anything you'd like to add? So I guess we'll stop here, and we thank everybody for tuning in. Take this process seriously, and your lives will be unlimitedly sublime. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
This session is no longer being recorded.
Thank you for tuning in, online people. Hare Krishna. Oh, we already have some arrangement. Thank you very much.